What's going on, you guys? Brian here, and this is my Monday Night Raw recap for tonight's episode. And first off, happy 316 out there. Of course, WWE celebrated this being 316 in honor of WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin. And this is a newsworthy day, to say the least, as they did announce, WWE announced earlier today via their social media, as well as they made the announcement on Raw tonight, that this year's WrestleMania will happen on Sunday, April 5th at the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. Now, of course, this has been met with a lot of criticism, to say the least. People thinking that this is stupid. They should just postpone it to another date. Um, but WWE has also been facing a lot of negative as it pertains to this event. The with the ban on European countries not being able to come into the United States, of course, that international people that come in from other countries to see WrestleMania, as well as other wrestling events that happen in the area around where WrestleMania is taking place. So they lost that. Of course, now with them other states and certain states here in the U.S. banning large gatherings of people, that's another negative they have faced. So they figured, hey, since we are not going to be able to do it we're not going to have it at Raymond James Stadium, let's do it at the Performance Center. Let's have WrestleMania at the Performance Center, which is, in some opinion, a history-making move. But in my personal opinion, and I'm probably not the only one, just postpone it. So then that way people can actually attend the event. That's my personal opinion. However, you know, some people might say it a different way and say, well, we don't know how long this coronavirus pandemic and how long it's going to take for them to get a hold on the on this coronavirus. So it kind of comes double sides from two sides. So it is what it is. They also announced that apparently they have canceled the Hall of Fame ceremony and NXT Takeover that was supposed to be happening in Tampa as well of WrestleMania week, and they have said that WrestleMania week has been canceled. So that's another huge news. Also today, I believe it was today or yesterday, that the NWA announced that their upcoming Crockett Cup show, as well as their NWA Power tapings that were supposed to happen in Atlanta, Georgia, that has been canceled or postponed. Um, I believe they also said, I read somewhere, that for the foreseeable future, until whenever, that WWE programming is going to be happening at the Performance Center, like this Wednesday's NXT. AEW announced that this week's episode is going to be taking place from an undisclosed location. A lot of cancelings, a lot of events being canceled, a lot of rescheduling, relocating, postponing. You've had the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, a lot of sports leagues postponing their seasons. So this has caused a lot. This coronavirus and this pandemic has caused a lot of changes, as well as affected a lot of people. A lot of people's lives. People have lost loved ones because of this virus. So it's a huge deal right now. And the only thing I can say is for everybody out there is to pray on this. Pray on it. That things are going to get better. And, this is going to go away. We don't know when, but if you leave it in the Lord's hands, it will, it will get better. So we have the Raw. I'm going to run through Raw tonight's episode. Not a lot happened because it happened at the Performance Center. They had Edge came out and cut a promo. He talked about what's been going on with him and Randy Orton over the last few months. He then challenged Randy Orton to a last man standing match at WrestleMania. They announced that next week Randy Orton will be on a Raw, possibly to accept the challenge or to give his answer to the challenge from Edge. They then showed the Royal Rumble match, the men's Royal Rumble match from this past January at the Royal Rumble, where Drew McIntyre won, and he would then, I believe the next day, choose to he wants to face Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. They showed that entire matchup. They had what was supposed to be the contract signing between Undertaker and AJ Styles for their match at WrestleMania. Undertaker came to the ring, angry, upset, furious about the comments AJ Styles made last week about the Undertaker's wife, Michelle McCool. There was a table set up, but no contract. Undertaker wound up throwing the table and stuff out of the ring. AJ would be shown in the back with Gallows and Anderson with the contract in hand. He would sign it. He would then force Anderson and Gallows to go to the ring and give The Undertaker the contract to sign, which they did. However, they suffered the consequences for that as Undertaker was in the ring. Gallows and Anderson were on the outside of the ring. They had put the contract on the one side of the ring, but then the gong would hit, the lights would go out, lights would come back on, Undertaker standing behind them. He beats them down, and then he signs the contract. So it is official, Undertaker versus AJ Styles happening at WrestleMania in a couple of weeks. We had Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. Of course, this has been a feud going on for the last couple of months now. Rey Mysterio picked up the win in this one, so that puts him in the picture for a future shot at the U.S. Championship. We heard from the Raw Women's Champion, the man, Becky Lynch. She cut a promo about Shayna Baszler, her upcoming WrestleMania opponent. We heard from Kevin Owens, who accepted the challenge by Seth Rollins from a few weeks ago. And he basically said that he'll face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania in the Performance Center. So that is another huge matchup signed for WrestleMania. And then we heard from Stone Cold Steve Austin. Of course, today was 3/16. 3/16 day. Austin came out. He drank beer. He read a bunch of cards of what 3/16 day means. Byron Saxton was like a judge or holding up different cards with numbers on them. Like one of the things that Austin read received a 5 from Byron Saxton. One received an 8. One received a 10. Basically like a scorecard type deal. Austin then invited Byron down to the ring. He offered him a beer. They drank, and in usual Stone Cold fashion, Austin gave a stunner to Byron Saxton. Then drank again, drank more beer. Here comes Becky Lynch with a Stone Cold cooler. She would then give beers. She would take 2 cans of beer out of the cooler. They would drink together. Then Byron got up, Austin grabbed him by his tie, and poured beer all over him, and then gave him another stunner. And that was pretty much it for Monday Night Raw this week. So, not much of an episode tonight. It is what it was. What it was. It happened at the Performance Center. I believe for the foreseeable future, that's where most of the WWE programming is going to be taking place. So yeah, that was pretty much it. This has been my Raw recap for this week's episode of Monday Night Raw. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.